The candidates for most of the offices have gone through a rigorous process, and we have endorsed and recommended them, and we did a lot of work to do that. And then the charter review candidates, we didn't do the full endorsement process, but we looked hard to make sure we were looking at who are the best candidates.
So we want to just thank all of you for coming out tonight and for being engaged in elections. This election that's coming up right now is extremely important because our local candidates are a layer of protection for us. And we need to pay attention who they are, and we need to be engaged in our local cities, our county councils, our school boards, and all of those things. We do need help getting these people elected. And that means door knocking is one of the ways that you can do it. Signs, if you hear a candidate that you're really excited about, see if you can get a sign tonight also. So it's a chance for you also to meet the candidates as well. And we have been well known for helping candidates get elected, and we have been on the doors, and we're going to be on the doors. And by the way, the door knocking this year is really, really fun. We are getting thanked by many of the people at the doors who are saying they are very grateful that we are coming out and giving them information because they really have no idea.
I want to say another word about that. It's 9 days until ballots mail out, and many people in the odd year elections see the ballot and they say, I don't know who any of these people are, and they just put it aside. And this is so important that we help them understand just how important it is, and that's why we vetted these candidates.
By the way, this is Ellen Floyd, and I'm Julie Andrzejewski. We're co-chairs of Indivisible Tacoma, and the way we're going to do this, because we don't want to take up any time in between, we're just going to ask the candidates to come up in order. They have the order of their speaking, and to introduce themselves. The candidates for city and county offices will have 3 minutes to speak, and the candidates for charter review will have 90 seconds to speak. But this is good because they will tell us the important things right off the bat. And we're also going to hear about what is a charter and the importance of that as well. So we're going to start with Ellen Talbo, who is running for Lakewood City Council. We're so thrilled about Ellen running. Ellen was one of the people that we actually recruited to run. And we are just, she has been amazing, and we are glad to introduce her. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Indivisible Tacoma, for welcoming me here tonight. And inviting me here tonight. I'm very happy and pleased to be with you and to have your support. My name is Ellen Talbo. I am from Lakewood. I was born and raised in Lakewood. I came up and attended Dower, Cabrini, Lockburn, and Lakes. Lakewood is my hometown. It's very near and dear to my heart. I've been serving on the Planning Commission for the last year and a half. My background is in urban planning, and I've been a practicing transportation planner at the city of Renton for the last couple years. So with all that, I decided to run for Lakewood City Council because Lakewood is immensely in need of change, and we are at a turning point where it is time for new leadership, fresh leadership that understands its past and respects its past and its people. And so I am running because I am motivated to bring leadership and fresh and keen perspective to motivate economic redevelopment and revitalization in the areas that need it the most, because there is a stark contrast of equity and inequity in Lakewood, and it's time for that to change. So that is really at the core of why I am running. I really care about safety and healthy neighborhoods, and as a transportation planner, working on bike and pedestrian and the non-motorized infrastructure that gets us from all walks of life, with or without a car, that is really important to me, and bringing that and sustaining those amenities in Lakewood, especially in the areas that need them. And finally, with all that, I really want to be part of leadership that sincerely engages and sincerely listens to its residents. Because, like I mentioned, stark inequities, it's time for change, and especially in Lakewood, where neighborhoods of need and neighborhoods of need and everywhere just need to feel listened to. There shouldn't, when people start to feel disenfranchised, then as leaders, we're not doing our job. And so it's time for new leadership. And that's why I'm running. And so I thank you for your support, and thank you for welcoming me here tonight. Thank you very much.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for your endorsement and your support, and for those of you who've already been joining us at the doors. It's just been so terrific getting to know all of you and just winning this race door by door, block by block. That's what we're here about, and that's democracy in action. I am a lifelong Tacoma resident. My name is Anders Ibsen. It was a privilege serving as one of your city council members from 2012 to 2019. And the reason why I'm running is pretty simple. This is my lifelong home. I love Tacoma to death. And like you, I've refused to live in fear of fascism, tyranny, and idiocy. And that's why we're all here, right? And how we do it is really simple, just through the long, boring, arduous work. That is how we reclaim democracy. It's not grand and flashy. It's boring. It's routine. It's week by week, block by block, engaging people, building power. That's how we win back, and that's how we fight against the terror against us. And that's really what it comes down to. And I'm sort of skipping ahead to your second question about federal overreach, which is a very polite way of saying fascist tyranny. But how we fight back against that is really simple. Recognizing the only source of power those people have, which is fear. If we fear them, and if we capitulate in deference to our fear, if we have the Neville Chamberlain approach or whatever of appeasement, then if you give those people an inch, what do? They just take more, right? And the taking involves human lives, potentially. That's what history shows us. Whereas if we recognize that there are way more of us than there are of them, historically that has always been the case, that's how we win, right? If you're a working person, if you're a cashier, if you're a warehouse worker, if you're an educator, if you're just one individual up against management, up against the owner, and if you say, please, sir, may I have some more in terms of a raise or just being able to support yourself, what's going to happen, right? They squish you. That's the same thing that we do as individual communities. But if you say, organize a union, have a robust contract, and I'm very proud to be labor endorsed for that reason, collectively, what happens if you have a robust contract? That's when the raises happen. That's when the benefits happen. That's when the pensions happen, right? Remember those things? And so collectively, that's where our strength is. And that's what my role is, as I imagine it if elected as mayor, is not simply being a policymaker who cares about great progressive stuff, but being a convener who works on the inside and the outside to build long-term progressive power for those who don't have it so they can have more of it. That's why we're here, and that's why we care so much about our city, and that's why we care about moving in a direction of greater democracy, whether it's democracy in our communities, democracy in City Hall, democracy on the job. Those are my values. That's what I was proudly infused with in a lot of the policies I fought for as a prior council member when it comes to whether it was either raising the minimum wage, fighting against the expansion of fossil fuels in the Port Tide Flats, passing paid and sick and safe leave, integrating the Puyallup tribe more into city decision making. And more of the things that I want to do if elected as mayor is building on those successes, trying to bring even more of a voice for labor to the table in the form of project labor agreements, apprenticeship utilization, greater protections on the job, making sure that we're not as individuals fighting back against this attempt at basically a long-term coup against our freedoms, but in greater concert with our people, with peer cities, with our delegation, to push back, and not just defensively, but offensively, to actually regain and restore and push into new boundaries of power for working people. That's what I'm all about. I'm so deeply appreciative for all that you do and all you continue to do. Reach out anytime. I have to knock on more doors in a little bit, but thank you again, and it is such a privilege working with all of you. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. Oh, I'll even do better than that. Come on. Good evening, everybody. I know this is a forum, but this is an Indivisible Tacoma forum, so remember. So, I'm Bryan Yambe. I'm proud to serve on the Pierce County Council for District 5. I was appointed in January, but where it started is when I was a kid, coming to meetings because my mom couldn't arrange a babysitter, and we didn't have those resources. So I got to sit in meetings like this, and it was then when I heard people talk about equity, for social justice, for civil rights, and it got in my head that, hey, if I ever had that opportunity, I'd like to be in those rooms and helping out and make a difference. I was, growing up, it was the stories of the 120,000 Japanese Americans and more who were interned in the internment camps, had their civil rights stolen away from them, constitutional rights suspended, and I swore that if I ever had an opportunity to fight for people who were marginalized, for fighting for people who didn't have power, that I would do it, stand up to bullies no matter who they are. So years later, I appreciate that. So years later, I wanted to see if an unconventional young person, a person of color, could run, lead, and serve in government. And so I ran for the 5-city council 11 years ago, was elected 4 times, and worked to try to make government more accessible, more transparent, and more accessible to people, everyday people and working families. And so doing that, bringing that to the county, it's been an honor to be able to stand up for marginalized populations and people everywhere in the county. And so I have supported our council and our executive. We have a 1-vote Democratic majority, if you all remember. And that 1 vote has been able to push through policies to really support our marginalized communities, ensuring that we do not use E-Verify at our county, ensuring that certain funds cannot be expended on ICE cooperation and investigations. And so each and every day I have the opportunity to live out the childhood dream of standing up for people and fighting for the rights and values that we all stand and hold dear. And so I am proud to be endorsed solely by the Puyallup Tribal Reservation, the Pierce County Labor Council, Planned Parenthood, Indivisible Tacoma, from our teachers to our nurses to our firefighters. I have a very broad coalition, and I appreciate the support to hold the majority and make sure that Pierce County is a place that's safe for everyone and that everyone can see themselves. So I thank you, and thank you for being here and all your work.
Hello, Indivisible. How are you this evening? My name is Latasha Palmer, and I can't tell you how proud I am to be endorsed by Indivisible. Y'all have been out at the doors for me already, putting in so much great work and trying to spread this message for this campaign. So thank you so much. So what makes me the best candidate? So I am the most progressive woman of color in the race. I am somebody who puts people and planet before profit, which means I am not accepting any kind of corporate donations. And I am the only candidate who is ready to govern on day 1. Now, why do I think I'm ready to govern on day 1? So last year, I had the privilege of serving over 100 hours on the Charter Review Committee for Tacoma. And what that allowed me to do was learn how the council functions and how it does not function. And since then, I've been able to regularly engage with my council members and at council meetings on a normal basis. So what is the charter? So you can kind of think of it as the city's constitution. It talks about the structures and powers and functions that the city government can do. On the Charter Review Committee, we were tasked to talk to elected officials and do a lot of public outreach to get to learn what people were interested in and how we could change the charter to help more folks and suit our city better. And we put those all together in recommendations and put those in front of the council. So I spent my time on that committee pushing for really progressive changes, and I'm happy to say that towards the end of that process, most of the folks in that committee were behind me and were all in and approved those changes to go onto that draft that went in front of the city council. Now, how did I win their approval? So approval for things like a more inclusive and more powerful commission, planning commission and climate commission, and more empowered neighborhood councils. Well, the first thing was I brought what I had learned from the past, right? I had attended Columbia University, And there I found out that thoughtful urban planning and sustainable practices just naturally led to things like improved public safety, creating and protecting jobs, and empowering public engagement. The next thing I did was listen. When you're bringing interesting new ideas, people are going to have questions, right? And so we had questions from the elected officials, from my committee members, from the public, on things like, hey, how's this transition going to work to a more equitable election platform? And so I addressed questions like that with research and with care. And then the final thing that I did, and is probably the most impactful thing I did, was I told my story. I made sure people understood why I was there and the fact that I did not have a choice to be there and to fight for systemic change. My children and I have lost people that have been very important to us, our loved ones, from broken systems like education, health, immigration, and housing systems. But when we submitted our recommendations, we quickly observed that the council system has become comfortable and willing to accept the status quo, even when it doesn't seem like those things are working. And mostly because these things have been gift-wrapped behind closed doors, in a way, from an unelected city manager. So I am running because no one else in this race has been put through such an immense training as this. I am the only one in the race to have had their backbone tested when it comes to people-first progressive changes. And I am the only one in this race who is ready to govern boldly against federal overreach from day one. So please, thank you, Indivisible, and elect me to be your bold, progressive, transparent voice on the council. My name is Latasha Palmer.
Hi, Indivisible. My name is Zev Cook. It's so good to be here with you tonight. I just came from knocking doors a few blocks that way. This year, I'm running a campaign to help build a local government and economy that works for working families. I got involved with community organizing around 2018, mostly around the issue of homelessness, and got to spend time working professionally in our community as a social worker and a shelter manager. That time showed me how much needed to change on the political level, and I was proud to get involved as a co-founder of Tacoma for All in 2022. That same year, I worked with a tenants union at a local mobile home park to help win a historic $600,000 settlement against their landlord to help keep all the family housed in the face of mass displacement. In 2023, I served as the field manager on our Tenant Bill of Rights campaign to take on the landlord lobby and win the strongest tenant protections in the state of Washington right here in Tacoma. And this past year, I've been proud to work with my former union, United Food and Commercial Workers, Local 367, to lay the groundwork and recently to have turned in over 10,000 signatures to put a Workers' Bill of Rights minimum wage initiative on Tacoma's ballot. Now, especially this year, where working families are under attack more than they've ever been from both a fascist right wing and an empowered billionaire class, we need to take on issues at the local level that put the power back in the hands of working people and make sure that this is a community where our grocery workers, our bus drivers, our healthcare workers, our state workers can afford to make a life for themselves here in Tacoma, the city where they work. And because of that, we're taking on issues like raising the wage, like taxing the rich instead of working families. And folks, you're not going to see me vote for more raises to property taxes, utility taxes, and sales taxes, because those raise the cost burden on working families when it's already too high. It's time that the rich and large corporations pay their fair share into our community. And on top of that, we need to build permanently affordable social housing. This is such a big issue for our community, and we need housing that's going to be permanently affordable to our grocery workers, healthcare workers, and state workers. So I look forward to you working with y'all in building that. But beyond our core platform, there's so much more that we need to take on in terms of building the city that we need, the city that will sustain an affordable future for working people. And to do that, especially in the face of an empowered right wing, we need a strong working class movement, the same thing that has defeated fascism over and over again across the world. This year, we've built a campaign that has brought together a team of over 70 volunteers to knock on, at this point, over 11,000 doors in District 5. That means more than every door in the district. We're on our second pass right now, and we intend to bring forward that movement energy into City Hall with us to win on our platform and more. Thank you.
Vote for Zev Cook. Vote for Latasha Palmer. And for everybody in this room, on that side of the room. How we doing, y'all? All right, so we were tasked with 2 questions, and the 2 questions are, why are you the best candidate? If elected, how will you work to protect us from federal overreach? So I think I'm the best candidate, for one, because I've been endorsed by a very, very powerful and influential group called Indivisible Tacoma. Maybe you've heard of them. Second, hi Patricia, we was door knocking a couple of weeks ago, had a lot of fun. Second of all, I think I'm the best candidate to represent District 4 because I grew up in this community. My family and I came here as Cambodian refugees and settled in Tacoma in 1981, so I've walked these streets my whole life. I went to Lister Elementary, went to McAvey Middle School, and graduated from Lincoln High School. Any Lincoln alums in the house? All right. We got one. I see you, Julie. Well, we got 3 in the room because my son just graduated from Lincoln High School a few weeks ago, and it makes me so proud of the foundation and the legacy that my parents came here with nothing and left for us. So, as you know, if you've been in Tacoma as long as I have, growing up in the 80s and 90s, specifically in the east side and in Salishan, was really rough. Drugs was rampant, gang violence was all over the place. And I learned how to navigate poverty. I learned how to navigate language barriers. I didn't speak English till I was in the 4th grade. So I've learned how to navigate these systems that wasn't designed to serve families like mine. So now I'm raising my family here, and my whole life I've turned my lived experiences into representation. And with this representation, I felt like I've activated a whole new base of voters who was not interested in city government, wasn't interested in this election at all. So, and that's reflected with the engagement that I get with my social media. I get DMs and messages every day of how they can volunteer, when the election is, how do they help. So, and I'm saying all that just to say, this is what I bring to the table. I bring a whole new group of people who's never interested in this before, and this to me is an example of a healthy democracy, because when more people, thank you, when more people participate, we have a healthier democracy. So got a minute left. Jumping on to the second question, if elected, how will you work to protect us from federal overreach? Right now, I work in the Attorney General's office. I get to follow Nick Brown around and take his photos. I run his social media account. So if you see him tweeting, that's me, so be nice. But being on the front lines in the Attorney General's office, defending Washingtonians from this federal administration, has taught me a lot. It's taught me not to comply. It's taught me that we can do everything in our power within the law, and we will win because what they're doing is breaking the law. If we are a nation that follows our constitutions, this is what we must abide to. I got 50 seconds. I'm going to end it here. And if elected, what I will do as a council member within my power, I'll submit regular Freedom of Information Acts requests to the Department of Homeland Security to find out what is ISIS doing in our communities. Because at the very least, we need to know what they're doing, who they're detaining, on what grounds and why, and we have to keep a log of that. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. And also, I just want to thank everyone, thank Indivisible Tacoma for the endorsement. It is really meaningful to me. I am rounding out my 6th year on the Tacoma School Board. We have 6-year terms, which sounds like a lifetime, and in many ways it is. I was elected in 2019 I defeated a 30-year incumbent to get here. And with that defeat allowed us to really focus on equity for each student, regardless of their identities, where they come from, and who their families are. I gotta tell you, I'm tired. I know I'm not supposed to stand up here and probably tell you that, but the fight that I have been a part of since 2019 includes a pandemic, digging our way out of it, addressing racial injustices, renaming schools, repairing relationships with Puyallup tribe, and trying to advocate for full funding of public education in the state of Washington, which we are, for those that might be familiar, we are at pre-McCleary levels of how much the state is actually investing in education. And individual school districts are paying the price for that. Communities are paying the price for that. Students are paying the price for that. Since being elected, I have been involved in the Washington State School Directors Association in their Federal Relations Network Committee. I was voted by my peers to chair this committee. I have traveled to DC year after year to advocate with federal agencies and our congressional leadership on fully funding special education, Title I, LAP programs, and actually investing in public education. And it's not really gone very well. And now, once the election happened, I knew I couldn't step away. It wasn't a moment to step away, regardless of how challenging and difficult this last 5.5 years have been. I have worked relentlessly to advocate in the best ways that I possibly can and leverage every relationship that I have within the state, within our legislature, across our community, and build a coalition of people that hopefully our legislature will start listening more to in terms of the actual real issues that schools are facing. Rising costs are something we're all experiencing. And it is a significant issue in our district and in districts all around the state. My hope, in terms of what we're gonna do to fight this federal administration, it takes all of us. It isn't just one position. It isn't just one area. We all have to actually collectively work together to be able to fight the systematic oppression and erasure and harm that this federal administration is doing. So, thank you very much.
Hi, Indivisible. I hope I know most of you, but for those I have not met yet, my name is Bronwyn Clarke, and I'm running for Parks Tacoma Position 3. I'm running, thank you. I'm running because I bring fresh vision and real experience as a young millennial who is committed to meeting this moment. I've been a South End resident since 2020 and a lover of Tacoma since 2014. In particular, in this time, we are seeing cuts to social services at every level of government, and the climate crisis is worsening. And I believe that parks need to be seen and recognized as more than just places to play and have fun, but also as critical infrastructure for care, connection, and climate resilience that can fill the gaps of those safety nets that are getting cut. So with my experience, I bring 10 plus years working at every single level of government. I've worked with cities, I've worked with states, I've worked with federal governments, and I've worked internationally. In Tacoma, I co-designed a guaranteed income pilot rooted in community voice with participants. In Denver, I'm currently helping the city to reimagine gun violence prevention from a lens of human-centered design. And in Bogota and Mexico City last year, I coached those teams on how to innovate sustainably with their residents. So I bring a lot of experience to actually back up what I'm hoping to do. And my ask for all of you is that we would imagine a different vision for our parks that is ready to meet both this moment now and what the challenges to come in the future. So imagine how we might build on community-led innovation and design to, add resident social workers to all the community centers. Imagine what would happen if we had shaded greenways that every community could access, pocket parks that connected neighbors to one another, so that when a heat wave strikes, they know exactly who can call on for support and relief. I would also like to see, a local climate conservation corps that is offering union jobs and apprenticeships to essentially steward our environment and restore our relationships to the land. So I'm running because really, ultimately, I believe that community is our best defense against a fascist regime. I feel like we need to have these local safety nets to catch people before they hit the ground when the federal systems will not do that. And we have to design very intentionally for that collective resilience by designing for care and connection and climate resilience as well. As someone with immigrant parents and queer friends, I will definitely stand up to the federal administration, ensuring parks remain safe and affirming for all. That includes supporting park staff to oppose ICE activities and standing with our queer and trans community. I will also work to fill service gaps for our elders and disabled members and double down on equity and investing in underserved neighborhoods. So really, I believe this is not about cutting ribbons. It's about ensuring that our parks and our community centers are built to leverage the care and connection that we have in Tacoma and face that future together. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. Awesome. I apologize. I'm starting to lose my voice, so if I sound a little weird, that's the reason why. And also why I was over there grabbing some water before coming up in to speak, so I could make sure I could speak clearly. My name is Malachi Cabera. I am currently the candidate for Parks Commissioner position number 2, and I'm so honored and excited to be here tonight. And I want to start with what makes me the best candidate. And I'll start with because of my personal and professional experience. Professionally, I serve as the development coordinator for Palmer Scholars, and if you're unfamiliar with Palmer Scholars, we are a nonprofit located right here in Pierce County that's been around since 1983, started by Merrill Palmer and Al Davis, that provides college scholarships for young adults of color right here in Pierce County. And so, awesome, yeah, you can clap for that. And we continue to do this work today. So now we're running 3 programs: Legacy, Pathways, and our GSI, which is our newest additional program. So every day I'm fighting for young adults here in Pierce County to make sure that they have opportunities for education, for jobs, for apprenticeships, because it's important to me that we start to create lasting impact for the next generation and abroad. Personally, I, as a gay black male, I had suffered some tragedies of my own. At 17 years old, in 2022, I was kicked out of my home because of my sexuality. My parents did not agree with me dating the person who I love and still continue to be with to this day. But with that came resilience, because in that same year, I got hired on by the Washington State Democrats to organize and knock on doors to elect candidates up and down, Democratic candidates up and down the ballot across the state, because I knew that fear and also passion and ambition can be shown at the doors to help get the people that I know will support me elected to continue the work that they do to this day. And in addition to that, I served as the campaign manager for Shirley Willis, who ran for Puyallup City Council in 2023, because we need to start looking at areas that we don't have strong Democratic support in. Areas like the 25th Legislative District, who are often overlooked and heavily underinvested in when it comes to political candidates. In 2024, I went right back at the doors, helping Cameron Severns, Shirley Willis, and Kenneth King to support Democratic candidates right there in that district. And now this year, I decided to run for office because I knew that we needed somebody who brings that perspective of lived and professional experience, not only just as a young person, but a young person who had to go through lots of challenges in their life to bring that same passion, that same ambition, that same resilience to a park system that has so much untapped potential. So what makes me the best candidate, oh, real fast before I wrap up, one thing that the Parks District can do in order to protect federal overreach is to show that we stand with our immigrants, we stand with our LGBTQ neighbors, we stand for marginalized communities, and we're going to continue to fight for them. And so that's what makes me the best candidate, because I'm going to advocate for you, I'm going to show up even when my voice is going out, and I'm going to continue knocking on doors and have the support of Indivisible Tacoma. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Alisa Lee and I'm currently running to retain my appointed seat on the Tacoma Parks Board for position 1. It means so much to me to be here tonight with you all. I'm really honored to have the endorsement of Indivisible and to be a progressive candidate from a working class background. This isn't a path that I originally saw for myself. I moved to Tacoma 15 years ago to attend college and try and make a better life for myself. I come from a rural area, a blue-collar household, and growing up I had to navigate both my mixed race identity and the American way of life. Turning 18 and moving to the big city, I call Tacoma the city that made me, you know? But as I got older, I found myself often acting as my family's advocate, as so many children of immigrants do, and helping my family secure disability for my little sister really opened my eyes and motivated me to find ways to make government really work for everyone. After college, I went on to canvass many of the city's doors as an organizer, and I really fell in love with Tacoma. In a past life, I've canvassed every district, and I know that each neighborhood of our city is unique and special and needs different things. For many years, I worked behind the scenes to support candidates and policies that brought everyone forward together. I was really happy doing that work, but as I continued to watch America and the country I admire so deeply change, I knew it was time to do more. With the attacks on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, we're not afraid to say it, and the targeting of communities of color. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I really believe that now is the time to step up and also hold the door open for others. Today I stand before you as a commissioner, but I've also been a waitress, I've been a farm worker, and I've been a caregiver, and I will continue to fight to make sure that our parks are accessible for everyone. So why am I the best person for this position? As I mentioned, I have a background in organizing. It's been an honor and a privilege to work to support marginalized communities, to work on issues like voting rights, and also work in leadership development. I'm also a union member, and I'm proud to represent a demographic that has never before been on the Parks Tacoma board in its 118-year history. Thank you. And so I really hope to keep my seat. I really appreciate your support. And one of the first things I did my first month on the commission, was also Trump's first month in office, was flag for our senior staff that we needed to do some Know Your Rights trainings. And so I'm going to continue to bring that same energy to the rest of my term if I win. Absolutely. Thank you, guys. I promise to stand in the gap for all of us, our immigrant neighbors, my LGBTQ friends, anybody in this time that feels scared. You have an ally in me and all of us, so thank you.
Good evening, my name is Liz Grasher, and I am running for the mayor in the town of Steilacoom. Why am I, thank you. Thank you so much, appreciate that. So why am I running? Actually, the reason I decided to run for town council in the first place is because Donald Trump was our president. And that, I can't say, motivated more women, LGBTQ, and union workers like myself with IAMAW Local 47 to run for office. I'm currently a town council member in the town of Steilacoom, ran against 4 people. I was lucky enough to win the primary and then the general election. Prior to that, I was also on the planning commission. A little bit about me, I'm a mental health therapist for Joint Base Lewis McChord, so I am currently encountering some of the federal issues that we're having. I was the first one of 2 in the state of Washington to be a diversity, equity, and inclusion coach. What that means is you're able to contact me to provide psychoeducational services if you're having problems with your sergeant, if you need a training. That has gone away. We're also supposed to throw out flyers that have DEI on them. I did not throw them out. They're sitting in the back of my office, and actually talked to one of the co-leaders about some of with Indivisible, and thank you for your endorsement as well. I'm running because the noise got louder. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago really, people were starting to ask me to run for mayor. No, I don't have time. I also teach at St. Martin's University as well, and I'm also on several boards, LASA, Living Access Support Alliance. I was recently elected, quasi-elected, I guess you could say, with the Pierce County Regional Council. I'm now the lead for the town of Steilacoom, and I'm also on the Pierce County Climate Conversation. I was voted into that as well last month. I'm here because I want to have transparency in the town of Steilacoom. It might sound small, but we've lost things like trees being cut with no explanation, phone calls coming in, I get text messages. Myself and one of the council members worked very hard to stop the cutting of 8 trees. It made King 5 News, even the town of Steilacoom, to stop the cutting of trees and topping of trees for a view at a public park. We met with a number of citizens, thank you, a number of private citizens, some who wish to be, continue to be unnamed. We're still continuing to fight for the town and our trees and our green spaces. Also regarding homelessness, Steilacoom may not have a large situation, but I am a member and a board member for the Living Access Support Alliance, as I mentioned, with LASA. Steilacoom frequently relies on our neighbors, both with Pierce County, Lakewood, and DuPont. So we need to also encourage greater involvement from this town of Steilacoom, as I'm doing right now, for example, with LASA. If we have homelessness, where are we sending people? We can send them to LASA to not only get things like a free shower, which we just put in earlier this year, and also to to do your laundry, as also as vouchers. If we're not able to get you into long-term supportive housing, we can get you into things like apartments. Again, my name is Liz Grasher. Thank you for your endorsement. I'm proud to be a union member, and I'm proud to be here today. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name's Cindy Haverkamp, and I'm currently running for position 2 on the Town of Steilacoom Council. I'm super excited to be here tonight. I was a last-minute invite. My speech may seem a little stilted because it's the first time I've ever given it. So, very excited and very grateful to Indivisible Tacoma for inviting me tonight. I am an experienced public servant and educator committed to serving Pierce County, specifically tonight, for position 2 on the Steilacoom Town Council. I've got a bachelor's degree in education and a master's in organizational leadership with a minor in nonprofit advocacy from Seattle University's School of Theology and Ministry. With these skills, I will be a valuable and unique addition to the town's council team. My service to Steilacoom and to our county show up in both my career and my volunteer work. I became a teacher in the Steilacoom School District in 2012. I went on to serve on the Pierce Conservation District Board and the Chambers Clover Watershed Council starting in 2018, eventually rising to vice chair of both organizations. I also, in 2018, busy year, joined the Steilacoom Kiwanis Club and also the Steilacoom Historical Museum Association, where I continue to serve as their external relations chair. Recently, I was appointed by our mayor to serve as on our town's Parks and Environment Advisory Committee. And after leaving teaching, I served as both a Pierce County Parks Planner and later, or currently, as the Climate Justice Coordinator for the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department. I bring energy and enthusiasm to everything I do. I used to teach the pom-pom squad when I was a teacher, so I've got that going. I will leverage my strengths of being a good listener and asking good questions, maintaining positive, balanced perspectives as I consider the needs of our town. My work and volunteer experiences have taught me to consider all points carefully and to work for good governance and full transparency. The town of Steilacoom offers so much: rich historic and cultural heritage, unmatched natural beauty, and the friendly neighborliness of a small town. As a town council member, I will offer my time and skills to preserve the way of life and to give back to the community that's given so much to me in the last 8 years that I've lived there. If elected, I will promote and protect what is important to those of us who live in Steilacoom: public safety, responsive public services, sound infrastructure, and thoughtful economic and residential growth. I will do this with a new set of eyes and a fresh female perspective. Thank you again for your endorsement, Indivisible Tacoma.
Hello. My name is Jennifer Lamari. I'm running for Lakewood City Council, position number 3. So currently, I run a solo law practice in Lakewood. I have more than 10 years of litigation experience. I've served as criminal deputy prosecutor, civil deputy prosecutor, city attorney for Tacoma, indigent defense attorney, and even deputy coroner in a small county where the prosecutor gets deputized to be a coroner. I grew up in Western Washington, and then I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts from Hawaii Pacific University. I worked overseas for several years as a teacher in South Korea and in Poland and in France. And then I came back to the States, and I went to Gonzaga Law, and I received my Juris Doctor at Gonzaga. So I have a wide range of knowledge relevant to municipal government that I'll bring with me to office. I've worked with a lot of regulatory, civil, criminal laws, the Washington State Growth Management Act, public records, clean water, the national and the state environmental policy acts, green infrastructure, environmental law and land use, stormwater management. I've worked with the Administrative Procedure Act, a lot of criminal codes, criminal procedure, and many municipal codes. And so legal scholars across the country pretty much have reached a consensus that we are in a constitutional crisis. And I will say we are living under an authoritarian regime. I will say that Trump is corrupt, lawless, incompetent, and he belongs in prison. So as an attorney, I swore to uphold the rule of law, the Washington State Constitution and the U.S. Constitution. On May 1st, I retook my oath in front of the Washington State Supreme Court for attorneys that wanted to retake their oath to uphold the rule of law during a constitutional crisis. And I swore to never reject the cause of the defenseless or oppressed or delay unjustly the cause of any person. I'm a strong advocate for voting rights, and I believe legal institutions in a constitutional democracy depend on popular participation and support to maintain their authority. And so I love the fact that these are people here that vote in local elections because it's really, really important for our democracy. I am not a politician. I am a public servant. So this is new for me, and I really could not have done this without the support of Indivisible Tacoma. My core values are rooted in inclusivity, respect, communication, collaboration. I believe in equality, equity. I believe in, shockingly, due process for all. So it's really important to me is equity and access for all people, regardless of your ability, your race, your gender, and to support laws and policies that protect and support, empower women, minorities, trans and intersex people. I've been openly queer for over 30 years, so I think this is really important. I'm running because I believe my experience and background, I can make a positive impact on my community. Thank you.
Could we give it up one more time for all of these excellent candidates, please? Thank you all for coming, and thanks to all of our candidates. My name's John Alessio, and you probably know that we are not a fundraising organization. We do not hold fundraising events for our organization. Our focus is on getting candidates elected. And so at this particular membership meeting, we pass around a jar. And if you can please afford something, we'd greatly appreciate it. We pass it around sort of sheepishly and apologetically, but please give what you can and then maybe give a little more. There are expenses with our organization. Minor expenses like the treats that we provide here, but we also have to generate high-quality literature that we pass out for candidates when we are door knocking. That's a significant expense. We generate a lot of flyers, and we have other hidden expenses. How many of you were at the No Kings event in the park? Yeah, well, we were one of the major organizers for that organization, and when you have those kinds of events, there are expenses, and we have to, at the very least, share those expenses with other organizations. So, there's the portable toilets, and there's the water, and there's all these things that come together and create expenses. So, having said all that, please be as generous as you can in supporting us. This is the only fundraising that we do. Thank you. We are now moving into the next phase of our meeting. So, thank you.